From part 1 to part 2 on the organic herb garden, there was a lot of stuff that I had to get done, and I couldn't get it on video because of the rain and the storms. With that back row of cages with the white posts, every other one is aroma tomato, and every other short one is a green bell pepper. And I got most of the herbs planted in here. I was doing this, actually the tomatoes were getting planted in the mud. I was sinking up to my ankles in mud. I couldn't handle a camera because my hands and feet were all covered in mud. But starting from this end here, I've got, let me think a minute. There's rosemary, sage, thyme, sweet basil, cilantro, and parsley. And these cages that I used is called hardware cloth. I've got no idea why it's called cloth. It's a thin metal wire, and it comes in rolls that are 5 feet long, 2 foot tall, and I get 2 cages out of each roll. So what I did was just measure halfway lengthwise. I rolled it out to 5 feet, measured it down the middle, cut it with a Dremel tool. That was the easiest and quickest. I was using wire cutters for a while, and that was dulling those too fast. So I just started using the Dremel tool and put a cutting disc on there, and that worked great. As you can see, the soil, it's still kind of rough and clumpy. It's really good and dry right now. Today is the 4th day without any rain. So in between these cages where the herbs are, I'm going to plant the yellow onions. I was originally going to put a clump of chives in each of the 4 corners, but I changed my mind again. I'm going to put a clump of chives in each front corner, and then transplant a clump of existing oregano in each back corner. So I'm going to get out my little mini cultivator and cultivate the 4 corners and the sections in between these cages, get it all prepared for the transplant and the planting of the yellow onion bulbs. I don't know what's up with this little mini cultivator, but it's a real pain in the ass to start. I think the engine is broken in now. The last time I used it, it wasn't putting out quite a bit more power. It was working a lot better. But on a cold start, this thing can take up to or more than 20 pulls to get it going. So I'm gonna go ahead and till up, cultivate whatever. The sections in between those cages where the herbs are for the yellow onions go into, and the 4 corners for the chives and oregano. It's 90 degrees. I should not have to put the choke on. I'm going to choke it, see if that helps. Alright, there's the first 20 pulled. I think I'm probably going to return this. It's no good. Okay, 25 pulled. Use some more gas. going to be rototilling deep, so I'm going to raise those back wheels up as high as they go, and that allows the tines to dig down deeper. That's another issue with this piece of crap. The little notches where the lock goes in to hold the wheels in place, they're not cut right, and it just don't lock in the way it's supposed to. So what I recommend earthquake brand tillers, cultivators, absolutely not. See how much of a struggle it was to get that to lock in? I'm not so sure about this cultivator. Definitely something wrong with it. It's either a carburetor problem or valve problem. So if I take it in for warranty, and it does have a 5-year warranty, but if I take it in for warranty, I'll probably be stuck with it. So I got to see if I can find either a Mantis or a Honda, and if I can, then I'll just return this and get my money back on it. But honestly, at first I thought it was okay, but I'm not so sure about this brand. Might not be good. Okay, I'm gonna put the little mini cultivator thing away and get out the rake that smooth, and then start planting stuff. Finding a lot of glass in the garbage too. You see me stopping, bending over, picking something up. A piece of glass. Don't like wearing shoes, but I don't like glass in my feet either. raked out, ready to be planted. So I was still stepping in some mud down there at the far corner in the shade. I couldn't get a nice powdery grinding, rototilling, cultivating, whatever of the soil, because it's still somewhat loose. I mean, somewhat wet. This is the 4th day with no rain, but the soil's still holding enough moisture where it's not breaking up completely and it's staying in clumps. Alright, the first hole is dug out for a clump of oregano. 90 degrees out here, 66% dew point. Feel like 94 degrees. It's time for an ice cream and beer break. Just kidding. Definitely do need to go sit down, have a glass of water though. Don't want to be drinking alcoholic beverages in this kind of weather. Don't want to be drinking pop, caffeine, sugar, water, juices. That's the perfect stuff. I'm going to get some. I'll be back. This is the same as transplanting those chives that I showed in another video. Just dig out a hole bigger than the plant that's going in. Not deeper, just bigger around. And then backfill all the soil back into it. There's really bad storms coming tonight, heavy torrential rain. So I don't need to water this. If there wasn't going to be storms or rain, then you definitely need to water this. Every time you move a plant, transplant it, it causes a little bit of shock for the plant. So you always want to make sure you have good, strong, healthy plants when you transplant them. I need to get the rake that mess up. I don't have one of those fancy picture-perfect gardens, but it is a good-looking garden for what people say, and I'm proud of it. I try to make it look as good as I can for what I have. Doing the final raking like this around your plants, you want to make sure that there's either a mound of dirt around the plant or some kind of a incline so that when you get heavy rain it doesn't puddle and pond all around your plant and drown it. Area where you don't get enough or you don't get much rain, then you want to design it so that it will hold whatever rain that you get goes to the plant. The area I live in, we get light rain to heavy to torrential flooding rain, so I always make sure that the water can't puddle up and pond around the plant and drown it. Looks easy, huh? Go ahead, wait till you try it. For the most part, it's pretty easy. But there's a working valve too. Nothing in life is easy.